Hugh Hefner, the unabashed king of hedonism and culture-shaking provocateur, burst into the world on a chilly Chicago day in 1926, born to parents so conservative they made the Puritans look like party animals. But young Hugh, with a twinkle in his eye and a rebellious spirit, was destined for a life that would make even Dionysus blush. After a stint in the army during World War II, where he probably spent more time charming his comrades than fighting enemies, Hefner pursued a psychology degree, though he seemed more interested in the pleasures of the mind and body than the intricacies of Freudian theory. Stifled by the straight-laced world of Esquire magazine, where he worked as a copywriter, Hefner decided to take a wild leap of faith, borrowing $8,000, including $1,000 from his saintly mother, to create Playboy in 1953. The first issue, featuring a now iconic nude of Marilyn Monroe, flew off the shelves, and a legend was born. Playboy was more than just glossy pages of eye-popping centerfolds. It was a cultural manifesto wrapped in silk and sophistication. Hefner's genius lay in blending highbrow intellectual content with tantalizing visuals, making it perfectly acceptable to buy a magazine for the articles. This wasn't just about seeing beautiful women, it was about embracing a lifestyle that celebrated freedom, intellect, and unabashed pleasure. Hefner's Playboy philosophy was a heady cocktail of sex, smarts, and swagger, advocating for sexual liberation, freedom of expression, and a good old-fashioned hedonistic romp. The magazine's interviews became legendary, pulling no punches and featuring everyone from Malcolm X to Martin Luther King Jr., while the fiction section showcased literary greats like Vladimir Nabokov and Margaret Atwood. But Hefner's personal life was where the real fun began. With his silk pajamas, smoking jacket, and ever-present pipe, he looked like he'd stepped out of a debonair dream. Hefner lived in a series of increasingly extravagant mansions, each one a playground for the rich, famous, and fantastically beautiful. The Playboy Mansion, first in Chicago and later in Los Angeles, became the epicenter of the sexual revolution, hosting parties that were the stuff of legend. Hollywood stars, rock gods, and political bigwigs mingled with Playboy bunnies, who were not just eye candy but embodiments of a new kind of liberated femininity. Hefner dated and married some of the most stunning women on the planet, his relationships a revolving door of beauty and drama, adding layers to his already larger-than-life mythos. Hefner was also a pioneer in civil rights, a fact often overshadowed by his more scandalous endeavors. He opened his Playboy clubs to all races, defying the segregationist norms of the time and insisting that talent, not skin color, determined who got in. His television ventures, Playboy's Penthouse, and Playboy After Dark, were groundbreaking in featuring black entertainers and guests, subtly but powerfully challenging racial prejudices in America. Hefner's arrogance was not just for show, it was a bold declaration of his belief in equality and freedom for all. As Playboy grew, so did Hefner's empire. He expanded into television, film, and merchandise, turning the iconic bunny logo into a global symbol of sophistication and sensuality. His business acumen was as sharp as his taste in women, and he fought numerous legal battles against censorship, becoming a fierce advocate for the First Amendment. Hefner's parties were legendary, a decadent mix of celebrities, intellectuals, and the most beautiful women in the world, all under the watchful eye of their charming host. These gatherings were more than just wild bacchanals, they were cultural salons where ideas were exchanged as freely as kisses, making the Playboy Mansion a hub of artistic and social innovation. Hefner's lifestyle was a continuous parade of extravagance and indulgence. He hosted themed parties that ranged from masquerades to pajama parties, with guests encouraged to let their wildest fantasies run free. The mansion itself was a wonderland, complete with a zoo, grotto, and enough bedrooms to accommodate Hefner's ever-changing roster of playmates. He was known for his generosity and charisma, often playing matchmaker for his friends and ensuring everyone had the time of their lives. Hefner's relationships were as public as they were numerous, his marriages and affairs constantly feeding the tabloids and adding to his mystique. He was unapologetically himself, a fact that endeared him to some and infuriated others. Despite the constant controversy, Hefner's impact on culture was undeniable. He pushed boundaries and challenged societal norms, advocating for sexual freedom and open-mindedness in a time when such ideas were revolutionary. He used his platform to address issues of censorship, civil rights, and free expression, often finding himself at odds with conservative critics. Hefner's Playboy philosophy was more than just an excuse to publish pictures of naked women. It was a bold statement about living life to the fullest and embracing one's desires without shame. In his later years, Hefner continued to be a larger-than-life figure, even as the world around him changed. He remained active in his business, overseeing the Playboy brand and making public appearances. He starred in reality TV shows that gave viewers a glimpse into his lavish lifestyle, further cementing his status as a cultural icon. Hefner's charm and wit never waned, and he continued to attract admirers from all walks of life. His parties, though perhaps a bit tamer, still drew the rich and famous, and his influence on pop culture remained strong. Hefner passed away in 2017 at the age of 91, leaving behind a complex legacy. He was hailed as a pioneer of free expression and sexual liberation, though not without his detractors. Critics accused him of objectifying women and perpetuating harmful stereotypes, but his supporters saw him as a champion of personal freedom and individuality. Regardless of one's view, there is no denying that Hugh Hefner was a man who lived life on his own terms, unapologetically and with an infectious joie de vivre. He turned a simple idea into a cultural phenomenon, forever changing the way we think about sex, pleasure, and the pursuit of happiness. So here's to Hugh Hefner, the ultimate playboy, a man who dared to dream big and live even bigger. His life was a testament to the power of imagination, audacity, and a good party. With a wink, a smile, and a whole lot of swagger, Hefner left an indelible mark on the world, reminding us all to embrace our desires, question the status quo, and never be afraid to have a little fun.